All right, today we're going to talk about hip flexors that feel really tight and talk about how that relates to back pain and what you can do about it. So this video is in response to an email I got from one of my students in the Back Pain Fix program, Nick. He said he was in phase 2 of the Back Pain Fix and he's been doing it for about a week, and he said, I'm finding that my hip flexors are getting really tight again. Should I go back to phase 1 for a while? So there are a couple things we need to think about when we're talking about tight hip flexors and tight muscles in general. The sensation of tightness in your hip flexors or any muscle needs to be more precise. You have to understand what is actually happening and what you actually feel. Oftentimes people will say when their muscles are really sore after a workout that their muscles are tight. Often people will also say, like they're sitting at the computer all day long, hunched like this, that their shoulders feel tight. Maybe you even lie on the couch for like 3 hours binge watching something, and then you get up off the couch and your lower back feels tight. We need to understand what this tight feeling is so that we're addressing the actual underlying issue and not just trying to massage every kind of tightness away and make everything feel better by using the same misguided strategy. So, Nick is talking about his hip flexors being tight, and I'm going to give you the answer that I gave him, which is that it really depends on what's actually happening. So first, if you're doing workouts that are using your hip flexor muscles and you're feeling like they're just sore, and you're not really losing range of motion, but they're just sore, then just doing some massage work on it is fine. Just massage it with your hands, use a foam roller, go into all the different nooks and crannies, use a foam roller, use a ball, use whatever to get in there and tell those muscles to just chill out. It's cool, everything's gonna be fine, all right? Tell those hip flexors to relax with a little bit of massage. If you've got the soreness and you're finding that you're losing some of your range of motion, meaning you do a bunch of hip flexor exercises, these muscles are sore, and then when you test yourself for hip extension and you want to like see how much extension you actually get here, you're finding that, oh, you're really limited in hip extension because the hip flexors are that tight, right? They're actually shortened. Then you need to make sure that you're also adding some stretching in with the massage work. You may find that just doing some stretching is enough. The point is, if you see that there's loss of range of motion following the workouts, you want to make sure you stretch, elongate those muscles so that you still maintain your full range of motion. You don't want to be continuously and gradually losing range of motion with every workout. So if that's the phenomenon that you are seeing when you feel this tight sensation, then make sure you're using both massage and stretching, or at a very minimum, stretching to maintain that length. Okay, so that covers that. Now, the one that is the most confusing for people is when you feel tightness and it doesn't seem to be the tightness that's related to muscle soreness. It's not the tightness that's related to actual activity. It's just tightness that just seems to be there all the time, regardless of whether you're active or not, and often seems to even get worse when you're just being a lazy sack. So the example I gave earlier of you're sitting at the computer, and then your shoulders are all tight, even though you haven't really been doing anything difficult for your shoulder muscles all day long, that example is analogous to the same situation that can happen with your hip flexors. Your hip flexors, when you're sitting in a chair all day, can be really weak. They're not doing anything. You're very rarely making the hip flexors do work. You're just telling them to stay short and then just basically relax all day long while you're typing. That situation can lead to hip flexors that feel tight. But massaging and stretching alone are not going to fix that situation. Massage and stretching for that can be somewhat helpful, but you also need to build strength in the hip flexors in that shortened position, meaning like, can you pull your knee up towards your chest and use the hip flexors against resistance so that those muscles are getting stronger? And can you also use your hip flexors at a lengthened position, which would be something that I've talked about in other videos, but being able to be in a lengthened position in hip extension and being able to express strength in that position, right? Can you maintain this for 30 seconds, 60 seconds? Can you actively use your thigh muscles and your hip flexors to maintain that open hip extended position while doing things with weight or whatever it is? I'm just gonna move so you can see me on camera here, right? So going down like that, can you actually feel stable and use those muscles at a lengthened position? And so between that short and long position, can you control all the angles in between as well? So if the problem is tightness from weakness, you have to be building strength. You have to make sure you're doing enough. So in this particular case, I would say to Nick, if you feel that and you're going through the back pain fix workouts and you are not challenging your hip flexors enough, that may be something to address. You might have to put more weight, more resistance into your hip flexor exercises so that the hip flexors get stronger, and then that tight, weak sensation can go away. So I went through a lot here. If this was confusing, I would encourage you to go back and rewatch this so you understand these scenarios, right? If you are finding that you're getting muscle soreness without really any loss of range of motion, then massage is probably a good way to handle it. If you're getting post-workout muscle soreness as well as loss of range of motion, then you definitely need to be doing some stretching and then some massage. Massage may be optional, just kind of depends, and you'll see how your body responds. And then if your tight muscles are because they are super weak and atrophying and begging you for strength, then you need to do strength work throughout the full range of motion, gradually expanding the range of motion and building strength at all positions through that range of motion so that your muscles are happy and the joint range of motion stays solid. Okay, so I hope that helps. I hope that clarifies things for you, Nick, and for everybody else out there who has tight hip flexors. And if you're looking for ideas about this, be sure to check out my links that I'll drop down in the description box. If you want to try the Back Pain Fix program for yourself to get your hips, your back, your shoulders all moving properly together and just teaching everything how to move well, then be sure to check out the Back Pain Fix program. I'll drop a link here and down in the description box. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to click the like button and share it with somebody else you know with really tight muscles that just won't let you go. They're so annoying. And if you've got some money and you want to give me some money to say thank you for helping you save some more money, then click that thanks button, which you'll find down below, or send me a tip with the PayPal link that's down in the description box. And please, whatever you do, even if you don't send me money, which is totally fine, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this video, whether or not this helped you, and what I can help you with in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon. And as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.